I like cars. Like, a lot. I also occasionally play video games and edit videos for my YouTube channel. But there's a problem. My computer kinda overheats. A lot. The hottest it's ever gotten is 187 degrees. And that's so hot you can bake with it. And I need to come up with a solution for this problem. So let's combine the two interests and make this. Day 1 begins. It's May 8th, 2023, the first day of the final project. And I was nervous, but I planned for this. Essentially, we had an assignment to cut out a picture, learning to use Illustrator, but I kinda went overkill. I created layers of flat pieces in Adobe Illustrator and turned it into a rotary engine that actually worked, which had its own entire design process, so I'll show that in another video. But here's essentially the format of it. Take notes. A lot of notes, but make sure they're clean. They've got to be neat. There's a whole list we have to worry about. One thing I definitely learned today is time is valuable and cannot be wasted. On the presentation side though, I've got that covered. I've spent 19 hours on it. You're watching it right now. And probably the most important thing is the turbo itself, so let's get to that. Day 2. Pretty much nothing happened, I just poorly made this. Day 3. Only stress. Day 4. I was stressed out about time and thinking about airflow. I also researched for cinematic videos. Day 5. I actually got some measurements, so it's 6 pieces of 1 3/4 by 1.5 inches, and I'm glad I made the bottom so that way I could pop it out because the blades were actually too big and it would take away from airflow, so I'm glad I did that. I changed the fan blade shapes and that also works way better. From this little thing, this is way better. Day 6. Don't know. I honestly have no idea what happened. Day 7. I fixed my hot glue gun because the day before day 1, I tried to use it with glue sticks too small, forced them in there, came out the back, and I burned myself. That's something I learned not to do. Day 8. I forgot to bring the turbo. Yep, that's it. I thought how to improve the design though, so I want to make it bigger. And here's the bigger one. It was a little bit too big, so I made it smaller. I also forgot to mention that I fixed the shape, centered it, and made it rounder. Because see this one, the shape's not very good on this one. Let me see, so the shape is better. You can see this one's all like lopsided and wonky. See that? And then this one's like round, so that's better. Day 9. Day 9. The teacher thought it would be more efficient if the walls were cut a bunch so you could bend it easier with, you know, a bunch of lines like that. I made a small one and found it just wasn't gonna work. Nothing lined up, so I decided to do it manually. Day 10. I knew I was running out of time for my presentation, so I got to work on it. I didn't think it was good enough, so I flipped the script. Haha, get it? I took it to a literal sense. Day 10 again. I read the presentation length in the criteria and found it has to be 3 to 8 minutes max, which, you know, I wanted to make it like 15 minutes long because I'm struggling to get this story this short. This got me pretty worried and I had to give myself a clear objective, so here it is. High quality, leave the viewer satisfied, and leave time for questions. I want to make it 5 to 6 minutes, but we'll have a little bit of time. Day 11. Another reality check. As of right now, I have 1 week to build the turbo, improve it, and spend at least 10 hours editing, and create the coolest, most complicated thing I've ever made. So I need to get stuff done and make a list. Here's the list. That's it. I don't know what you're expecting. Day 15. I don't want to know why I didn't write anything, but now I don't know what happened those days. Also, apparently you're supposed to draw, which these are pretty cool, as you can see. This one, the airflow was bad on that. You know, it'd be inefficient, so I decided to redo it. And it looks so much better, and it's kind of 3D too. Like, look at that. Because that's the way it's designed to be for my computer. As you can see, the side vent here. Day 15, power source. I don't know what to power it with, though, so that is a problem. Most likely I will go with a drill, but an air compressor is fastest. I either need speed or a cooling system in it to make it work better. May 18th. Not sure what the day count is now. I was scared. I thought the prototype was due the next day, so I went to Walmart and tried to get some motors to power it. I was glad and was very relieved to find out it wasn't. This wasn't the first time this happened either. I thought it was due the next day on Sunday, don't know which one, rushed to Dollar Tree and did the same thing again this time. And boy didn't I feel like an idiot. No more notes for a while. I'm not really sure what happened. May 29th, Memorial Day, no school. It is due tomorrow. I was somewhat prepared but had some places to go. I had worked on the assignment for 2 whole days before this, and that's all I did for that amount of time. Nothing else. I got back to my house at roughly 8 and took my shower early so I could work interrupted. My bedtime is 10, by the way. I stayed up till 2 a.m. and was so tired that my eyes hurt. May 30th, the due date. I worked on it this morning for about an hour. I didn't have the video completely finished, so I uploaded it. I didn't know if it would upload or not and was scared because I only had 2 hours to work on it at school, and it's due at 3:05. I was pretty much late to school and don't know how I wasn't counted tardy. I left the house at 7:58 and was rushing to get there. When I got there, I was pretty stressed and found out when I got in TED, it wasn't due until Friday. Still May 30th. After I found this out, I thought, man, I sure do have a procrastination problem. Because this happened 3 times and I still wasn't done. So that's a problem that definitely needs fixing. Maybe I'll do that for my next final project. I got nothing else done in class that day, but I worked on it for roughly an hour after school. June 1st. I'm getting a lot done. It's due tomorrow and I think I'll be ready. It's 6:26 p.m. and I'm finishing writing this now. Although the turbo doesn't actually work enough to change temperatures, I think it's good. Because it does push air enough to feel it, and that's what is needed for a prototype. I hope this is good, and I'll see you guys on test day. Goodbye. And my goodness, I'm finally finished. So honestly, in the end, after all these late nights and stressful moments, I would say for some cardboard spun by a drill connected to a vacuum cleaner hose, hot glued to a Rubbermaid container, built by a freshman in a high school, it worked out pretty well. Whether those few degrees actually went down from the turbo, or just by mere coincidence, it somewhat proves a concept that I made something, that I made an attempt at doing my best, and that was my final project. This is why it took 32 hours. This was an experience, to say the least. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.